Hey everybody, welcome back. We're on day 3 of reInvent. Today we're going to be talking about Swami's AI ML keynote, some interesting new service features that came out today. Once again, I'm Justin Guzzi, a director, part of our cloud and digital AWS practice. With me today is another AWS ambassador, Janet Raj, part of our products and technologies group, and his focus is on AI ML technologies. So great to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So a couple key areas today focused on primarily, I'd say, Sagemaker, the Sagemaker service, and then some database service improvements around migration and some capabilities there. So I guess just kind of getting into it, right? Let's talk a little bit about Sagemaker. So yesterday we were teasing a little bit about the Sagemaker Canvas service that makes it very easy for anybody to get started using machine learning. So what were your thoughts about Canvas today? They got into it a little bit deeper.
Yeah. So Sagemaker Canvas is a low-code visual interface for building machine learning models. So the intended audience here is business analysts, not people who are proficient in writing machine learning code. So it gives you a very nice point-and-click interface where you can bring in data, you can upload your data, or you can connect to S3, bring in your data, build some models, and then deploy those models for inference via batch predictions or single predictions. So with this service, AWS now caters to a wide variety of audience now. So for example, you have Jupyter Lab in Sagemaker Studio, which is for more sophisticated users who are, for example, building their machine learning models in, say, TensorFlow or PyTorch. And then you have managed RStudio environments where people who like coding in R, they have that environment. Now with Canvas, they are catering to business analysts who generally would not be building their own models, but with this service, they can right now.
Yep, so really anybody can get started building machine learning models using Sagemaker. And then it's kind of along the same line was the Sagemaker Studio Lab service that came out today, which is really convenient because you don't even need an AWS account to get started with that service. So basically anybody can just sign up with an email address and get started building machine learning models and learning about machine learning.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a great learning tool for, say, students or people who necessarily do not need to have an AWS account or pay for an AWS account. They can just sign up and then this can start using this environment. So you can say, hey, I need a CPU or a GPU, and then you also get almost 15 gigabytes of persistent storage. So you can build your models, and then you can get out of the environment, come back, and the data is still there, and your code is still there. So it's a very nice service for especially for beginners who necessarily do not have to pay for or have a credit card to sign up for this service. So
yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about yesterday the Trainium 1 instance, right? That came out.
Yes. So the Trainium 1 instances are basically powered by it's called the train instances, EC2 instances, powered by the Trainium chipset. So it's a very specialized hardware where you can basically efficiently train your deep learning models in the cloud. And then you can also combine a lot of these instances together into something called as an ultra cluster, where you can do distributed multi-node training. So this becomes very important when you're training large-scale models and you need these models to train quicker. So it's a very good service.
Yeah, a lot of horsepower under the hood for that one. Yeah. And then also Sagemaker related was the infrastructure innovation service that came out, right?
Yes.
That was an interesting one.
Yes. So the announcement was Sagemaker infrastructure innovation. So there's a lot of under the hood innovations that's happening here right now. So one of them was under this category was Sagemaker training compiler, which basically takes your machine learning code written in a higher level language like TensorFlow or PyTorch, and then the training compiler essentially compiles it into a lower level hardware instruction set. So what happens is you can train your models much more faster. So up to 50% more faster. What happens in that case is you can iterate much faster, and you can also realize efficiencies in cost reductions. So that's a great optimization to have. Then the second category was the second point was serverless inference. Again, we didn't hear a lot about it, but then this is one of the innovations that I'm a lot more excited about, because we do a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes when we deploy machine learning models on typical clusters. So with the serverless inference, all that heavy lifting gets taken away from us, and we can focus on just deploying models, and the serverless environment can take care of scaling and things like that.
Yeah, a lot more serverless this year.
Yes.
I think everybody loves serverless. No
Yes.
infrastructure to manage. Makes it much easier to use and get started.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, and then the third point was inference recommender. So typically for MLOps engineers, when they deploy their models, it's very hard to know what model to deploy on what kind of infrastructure, because there are so many different options to choose from, and there are so many different frameworks that you can build models in. So with this service or SDK, what you can do, what happens is this service recommender or this inference recommender can basically recommend what kind of instances to deploy your model on. So you can basically simulate before going into production what kind of hardware you need to provision for your models, and that's great to have. So you don't have to deal with the complexities later. So
yeah, awesome. And then, as I mentioned before, there were some new service releases around database migration, database technologies. I think one of them that struck me that I thought was really interesting was DevOps Guru for RDS now, right? So DevOps Guru is a service that was previously released to detect application performance issues, operational issues, and then alert and provide recommendations around how to remediate those issues. And now they've gone ahead and they've extended that to RDS. So again, using that same machine learning technology that AWS has today to alert you if something's going on with your RDS instances, your databases need some attention. And then also some improvements around the DMS service, right? AWS DMS Studio now. So previously DMS kind of stood on its own. Schema conversion tool was another piece of that, but was sort of not directly integrated. Now they've gone ahead, they made a much better UI around DMS in general. So now you can access it all from one place, the DMS service, schema conversion tool, and then the new service that was released today, which was called Fleet Advisor, right? That can analyze your data workloads that you plan on migrating to AWS and kind of help that streamline that process a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So some great releases, right?
Yes. Very excited to hear about this announcement, especially in the serverless theme, because it's, I think, the way to go in future. So yeah, very excited.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks everybody. Very excited to talk about the next keynote, and we'll see you then.